this on Facebook Live?
Mm-hmm. I think we got everything. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're here today to announce the arrest of Jack Jeffers for the homicide of Michael Ahern. Before I start, I want to introduce standing behind me here, to my left, District Attorney Karen Hagan, Assistant District Attorney Jen Buckley. To my right, Captain Jeff Brown, in charge of the investigation unit. Steve Brown, an investigator. Kevin Herrick, investigator, and Chief Deputy Glenn Sheehy, who is in charge of the road patrol. Before I start, I want to offer my sincere condolences to the Ahern family and his 3 children. This will bring some type of closure to them and of the rest of his family members. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read off the press release, give you a little bit of an overview of what took place. I'll have a couple comments. I'll then turn it over to our district attorney, and then we'll open it up for questions, and Captain Brown and the district attorney will be happy to answer any question you have. So we're here today to announce the arrest of Jack L. Jeffers, 25 years of age, giving us an address of 6010 County Farm Road, which is our correctional facility, Ballston Spa. He's been charged with Penal Law Section 125-15 Sub 1, which is manslaughter in the 2nd degree. Following a lengthy investigation into the disappearance of Michael Ahern from a building on Brickyard Road in the town of Stillwater, Jack Jeffers was arrested and charged with 1 count of manslaughter. A missing person complaint involving Ahern was first filed with the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office on January 15, 2019. Ahern was 42 years of age at that time. The investigation ultimately determined that Ahern, who was living at a building formerly used as a clubhouse for the now defunct Rolling Pride Motorcycle Club on the Brickyard Road in the town of Stillwater, was shot and killed by the defendant at the location on January 6, 2019, during a personal dispute. The defendant was previously charged in 2019 with other offenses related to this investigation. They include grand larceny, tampering with evidence, and criminal possession of a weapon. It is alleged that in the months following the killing of Ahern, he disposed of evidence of the crime, sold a truck belonging to Ahern, and was found to be in possession of illegally possessed firearms. The defendant was arraigned on the charge of manslaughter in the 2nd degree last night before Town of Milton Justice Timothy Brown. He was remanded to the Saratoga County Correctional Facility in lieu of $25,000 cash bail, $50,000 secured bond, or $100,000 partially secured bail bond. The Saratoga County Sheriff's Office would like to thank the following agencies for their cooperation and assistance in this investigation: the New York State Special Investigations Unit, Major Crimes Unit, and Forensic Identification Unit, the FBI out of Albany, Stillwater Police Department, Dr. Michael Sikarecka, the Albany County District Attorney's Office, and the Saratoga County District Attorney's Office. I would like to personally commend the lead investigators, Steve Brown and Kevin Herrick, and ADA Jennifer Buckley, for their determination to bring this closure to this case. It is especially important for the family of crime victims to have some closure knowing the offender will be held accountable. This case took a multitude of people to come to a successful conclusion. From our law enforcement partners, to the prosecutor's office, to our road patrol deputies on the street who worked on this case from the beginning. I can't thank them enough. I can't thank our partners, law enforcement partners that helped us throughout this 2 years. And I'm just happy for the family of Mike Ahern that we brought this case to a conclusion here today. So what I'd like to do is I'll turn it over to the district attorney for some comments, and then Captain Jeff Brown, the district attorney, can answer any questions you have. Madam DA?
Thank you, Sheriff. I also would like to join the sheriff in expressing my condolences to the Ahern family. As you all are calculating, this is the case that has resolved itself after 2 years of hard, continuous, and hard-driven work to reach the conclusion here today that we are announcing that in addition to being charged, Mr. Ahern has pled guilty in the Saratoga County Court in front of Judge James A. Murphy III to the counts of manslaughter in the 2nd degree, a Class C felony in violation of the New York State Penal Law, as well as pleading guilty to criminal possession of a weapon in the 2nd degree, a Class C violent felony. In those pleas, Mr. Jeffers acknowledged his responsibility for recklessly causing the death of Michael Ahern in pleading guilty to the manslaughter in the 2nd degree charge, and also pled guilty to the criminal possession of a weapon in the 2nd degree charge, acknowledging that he illegally possessed a loaded firearm. We are here today also to commend the diligent and systematic work of all of the partners in law enforcement that Sheriff Zerlo discussed. And it was without that collaborative effort that we would not be standing here today having identified and resolved this case with an acknowledgement of the responsibility for the homicide of Michael Ahern. I want to particularly commend the people who are not here, because we could fill this room multiple times over with our partners in law enforcement that have brought us to the point today of bringing the conviction to your knowledge, because this was a case that was a step-by-step, a piece-by-piece investigation that resulted in the culmination of the charge and the plea for the death of Michael Ahern today. Mr. Jeffers' plea to the manslaughter charge and to the criminal possession of a weapon charge will result in him being sentenced by Judge James A. Murphy III on the 30th day of March of this year at 10 a.m., at which time we expect he will be receiving a sentence of 4 to 12 years in a state correctional facility for the conviction of the manslaughter in the 2nd degree charge, as well as a sentence of 9 years, a determinate sentence for the criminal possession of a weapon charge. We anticipate that Judge Murphy will order that those sentences will run concurrently. I also would like to extend my personal thanks to Sheriff Zerlo and his amazing team for all of their work and dedication in working with the chief of my major crimes unit, Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Buckley. Their tenacity, their dedication, and their commitment to this case is what has brought us here today. I'll turn it over now to Captain Brown to fill you in on some of the details.
Thanks, DA. Thank you, Sheriff. Well said. I don't have much to add to that, but I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
Why now?
Mark, I knew you.
Why now? Why now? After 2 years, what happened?
It was a lengthy investigation, Mark. Can't explain it all to you, how much was involved in this. For 2 years is a long time. At some point, you noticed on the press release that Mr. Jeffers was charged with some crimes. At that point, he obtains counsel. Our working relationship, even more than important, with ADA Buckley, to work with his attorney, our attorney. As we gather evidence against Mr. Jeffers, she works with his attorney. We've got charges pending, more charges coming, ultimately leading to the plea that DA Hagan spoke to.
So he made some admissions, Kevin?
Yes.
Did he recover the remains?
We're still working on a few things with the remains. I don't want to get into too much. We do have some moving parts and some loose ends still tied up. I can answer most anything you want to know about Jack Jeffers. As you may imagine, with a lot of these larger cases, there are some other people that could be involved, and certainly that's something we're still looking into. So I don't want to answer too many questions about the peripheral, but Mr. Jeffers is the arrest to announce it, and I'm happy to answer any questions about it.
What was the nature of the dispute, Captain? What, it was a personal dispute, what was the nature of it?
It could be one of many things, Mark. We haven't been able to nail down to one specific thing. The gentlemen were living together in the Brickyard Road address, which was a motorcycle club. It was definitely, you know, a personal relationship there, and then being together there for so long. I believe there was money issues. Certainly, I believe narcotics were involved. So any one of those multitude of things could have led to them argue that day, and ultimately end with Mr. Hearn. So,
And how did you figure out where he was last, since no one had seen him for a while?
you referring to Mr. Hearn?
Yes.
You know, there was a delay in our reporting of him being missing, so we were backtracking to try and find his last known location. Just short answer, good detective work, interviewing people on the street, getting out there, and seeing who last saw him, where was he living, working on different technology involving cell phones, his vehicle, things of that nature, yeah.
Are there other people that you allude to being, you know, possibly involved in this? Are they part of the biker world as well, do you think?
Some, sure, yep. That was a lot of the people they hung out with were different local bike gangs, and a lot of them are affiliated one way or another with each other, although they're separate in some ways, so, yeah.
Can you talk
So
to
more
me?
charges might be pending?
Correct.
Were they both part of the Rolling Pride? They lived together, were they both part of the Rolling Pride?
Yeah, at one point or another. And again, at the time of the homicide, it was already at that point a defunct motorcycle gang, and they had dissolved it.
When he was arrested and charged in 2019, has he been in jail since then, or has he been out?
He's been in jail steadily since his arrest, is that correct, Steve?
He was out for a short time. He was arrested twice in 2019. He was out for a short time from about March 16th through April 16th. He's been incarcerated ever since April 17th of 2019.
And did you say you were gonna speak on his criminal background?
I can speak up, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Speak on his criminal background, Jeffers, criminal background?
You see it there, he didn't have, he's not a career criminal, that's what you're asking. There wasn't a prior criminal history to speak of, rather than those arrests that are mentioned in the press release, that led up to where we are now. But yes, and once he started getting arrested for those other crimes that occurred after the homicide, he became counsel, and that's when we started working with AD Buckley even more intensely.
Was the weapon that you believe was used in the homicide, the weapon, was that illegally possessed by him, and also, have you recovered that weapon as well?
Yes and yes. Anything else?
Did you found the body at this point?
That's correct, yes,
But it's fair to say he's cooperating.
correct. We hope to, that's really a key part for us. That's what the family would love to see, you know, that's part of the closure aspect of the mark, is them to have a burial, and we're really working hard with everybody involved to come to that conclusion for him.
District Attorney Hagan, can you talk about why man 2 and not a more weighty charge?
So, this is a weighty charge, I would say, to you, manslaughter in the second degree. The investigation revealed, and he was charged with having recklessly caused the death of Michael Hearn. And that's the charge, which is appropriate for a reckless homicide, and it is the charge to which he pled guilty.
Anything else?
Just one last question, Captain.
Sure.
Is the others who may be involved, do you think that has more to do with the disposal of the body or the cleanup of the scene as opposed to the actual homicide itself?
Could be that, it could be both. That's what we're looking into, sure, yeah.
And there was a fire reported there not long after. Was that part of this? Was that intentionally set, sort of?
We don't believe so. There's a wood stove in that property, and we were not able to say the fire was incendiary in nature. So we don't think the fire was a set fire, no. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.